I guided my trusty 7-year-old Honda Civic into the guest parking lot of Serenity Bay Resort that warm afternoon. The kind of place where dreams of escape met flawless lake views stretching for miles. The resort sprawled across pristine acreage along the shoreline in upstate New York, its modern glass and stone design catching the sunlight just right. My mother's sleek Mercedes and my sister Lauren's BMW already sat gleaming in the reserved VIP spots, symbols of everything they believed mattered most. I'd picked this location with precision for our family reunion weekend. Every detail, from the winding paths through manicured gardens to the way the building framed the water perfectly, reflected choices I'd made years earlier. As I stepped out, grabbing my simple duffel bag from the trunk, I heard Lauren's voice cut through the air first. "There she is," Lauren called, her tone laced with that familiar mix of condescension and fake concern she'd honed since we were kids. "We were starting to wonder if you'd make it at all."
Maya.
Traffic must have been murder coming from the city. I forced a small smile, slinging the bag over my shoulder. It was a bit backed up leaving the warehouse district.
Yeah.
Elizabeth, my mother, appeared right beside her. Designer sunglasses perched on her perfectly styled hair. Her scarf probably costing more than my rent for the month. "The warehouse district? I'm surprised you could even afford the gas for the trip. Sweetheart, that little car of yours looks like it's on its last legs." Lauren linked her arm through Mom's, both of them eyeing my vehicle with barely hidden disdain amid the sea of high-end SUVs and sports cars. "Don't worry about her,
Mom.
We've already checked into the premier suites. I'm sure they keep some standard rooms in the back building for guests like Maya. You'll be perfectly comfortable there." The valet approached politely, reaching for my keys. I handed them over, noticing how his gaze lingered a second too long on my car surrounded by luxury. Mom didn't miss a beat. "We'll handle separate checks." "Of course. I wouldn't want you stretching yourself thin trying to match our standards. This weekend is supposed to celebrate real achievement. After all." The lobby took my breath away as we entered, just as it always did. Soaring ceilings with exposed timber beams, a grand stone fireplace that dominated one wall, and floor-to-ceiling windows offering uninterrupted views of the shimmering lake. The space hummed with quiet elegance, soft lighting, fresh floral arrangements, the faint scent of cedar and citrus in the air. Everything aligned exactly with the vision I'd fought to bring to life. "Isn't this place incredible?" Lauren spun slowly, taking it all in with wide eyes. "This is what success actually feels like."
Maya.
Not clocking in at some warehouse job day after day. "I'm genuinely happy for both of you," I replied softly,
Keeping my voice even.
"Are you really?" Mom adjusted her scarf with a sigh. "Every time we see you, you seem more exhausted, more drained. I warned you that chasing those vague dreams would lead nowhere. You should have settled down with that nice accountant I introduced you to years ago. His firm is doing wonderfully now."
Mom.
"I didn't want. What you wanted was to be stubborn and independent," she interrupted with a dismissive wave. "And now look at the results. Lauren built a thriving real estate career. I've got my consulting practice helping small businesses grow. And you're still moving boxes in a warehouse somewhere." A server passed with a tray of complimentary welcome champagne. Lauren grabbed 3 glasses, passing one to Mom and keeping 2. "Oops. Sorry, Maya. I forgot you probably can't spare the tip for little extras like this." "It's actually complimentary for all guests," I pointed out gently. "Even better then," Lauren laughed lightly. "Free stuff suits you perfectly." We reached the check-in counter, where a friendly attendant named Jessica greeted us warmly. "Welcome to Serenity Bay Resort. How can I assist you today?" "Reservations under Elizabeth Reynolds," Mom said, sliding her premium credit card across the polished marble. "Premier suites for myself and Lauren." Jessica's fingers danced across the keyboard. "I have those right here. And you must be the 3rd guest. Maya Reynolds." That's me, I confirmed. She'll need whatever basic room you've left, Lauren cut in quickly. Separate reservation. Separate billing, of course. Jessica's smile faltered just slightly as she reviewed the screen. Actually, Ms. Maya Reynolds is listed as the primary account holder for all 3 Premier Suites. There's authorization for additional charges under that account as well. Mom's eyebrows shot up. That has to be an error. Lauren leaned forward. My sister works in a warehouse. There's no way she could be primary on anything this upscale. Check again, please. I felt heat rising in my chest, but I held back, waiting. Jessica clicked through more screens, her confusion deepening. No mistake here. The reservations are under Maya Reynolds with the additional Premier Suites approved for Elizabeth and Lauren Reynolds. There's also a note about special privileges. But I'd better confirm that with management. What note? Mom demanded. Lauren laughed sharply. Special privileges for a warehouse worker? Jessica, your system clearly has a glitch. I'll call Mr. Thompson, our general manager, Jessica said, picking up the phone. He'll sort this quickly. Mom's tone shifted. Is that necessary? We just want to check in. For something irregular like this? Yes, ma'am. As Jessica spoke quietly, Mom turned to me. This is precisely what I've been saying.
Maya.
You probably tried some discount code or online hack that doesn't apply to places like this. Now you're delaying everyone. I didn't use any code, I said calmly. Then explain the special privileges, Lauren pressed. Did you put false information on the reservation? That's illegal. You know. A tall, distinguished man in his 50s approached, suit impeccably tailored. Jessica straightened.
Mr.
Thompson, thank you for coming down. He glanced at the screen. Then his eyes met mine, shifting from professional to surprised recognition. Ms. Reynolds, we weren't anticipating your arrival quite so early. Plans shifted, I replied simply. He turned to Jessica. Please access the executive protocols. Level 10 clearance. Her eyes widened as she typed, face paling. Oh my. I'm terribly sorry. Ms. Reynolds. I had no idea. Lauren interrupted. Level 10? What exactly does that mean? Mr.
Thompson focused on me,
ignoring her for the moment. Your family's reservations, all 3 Premier Suites, are in the exclusive Lakeside Wing. Correct?
Yes.
That's right. You're the approval authority for all charges and services. I am. Mom stepped forward. Excuse me, Mr.
Thompson.
There seems to be serious confusion. My daughter Maya works in warehouses. She couldn't possibly hold any executive status here. He regarded her neutrally. Mrs. Reynolds, I assure you there is no confusion whatsoever. Mr. Thompson cleared his throat politely. Ms. Reynolds oversees warehouse operations for Reynolds Coastal Properties. But that's only one aspect of her role. The silence that followed felt heavy, like the air had thickened. Lauren recovered first. That's impossible. We've seen her at those warehouses ourselves, tired, in work clothes, complaining about long hours. I inspect our facilities personally, I explained. We maintain 3 properties now. Each has significant back-of-house operations, kitchens, housekeeping, maintenance, storage. I review them quarterly to uphold standards. Mr. Thompson nodded supportively. Ms. Reynolds maintains exceptionally high expectations. She believes true luxury starts with what guests never see. 3 properties? Mom whispered, her voice faint. The company is valued around $85 million currently, Mr. Thompson continued. Ms. Reynolds holds majority ownership at 51%. Lauren sank into a nearby lobby chair. This can't be happening. It's very real, I said quietly. I wanted to share this with both of you many times over the years. But what? Mom's sharpness returned. But every time you tried, we dismissed it? Is that your excuse? You cut me off repeatedly, I replied. You told me my ideas were foolish. You held up Lauren's success and your own consulting work as the only valid paths. Unless I followed exactly what you wanted, my efforts weren't worth discussing. So, you let us believe you were barely scraping by? Lauren asked, disbelief clear. I never claimed I was struggling. I corrected. You both decided that working in warehouses automatically meant failure and poverty. I inspect operations because quality control demands it. Mr. Thompson's phone buzzed. He checked it with a subtle smile. MS. Reynolds. Some of your guests are arriving. Shall I direct them to the conference area? What guests?
Mom asked sharply.
I invited key people for the reunion, I said. Colleagues I thought you'd want to meet. MS. Reynolds has reserved the entire East Wing, Mr. Thompson explained smoothly. That's 15 suites, plus private dining and conference spaces. 15 suites. Lauren's voice cracked slightly. Mostly for the team, I replied. I wanted you to understand what makes this possible. A group entered the grand lobby doors, professionals in business casual, some carrying tablets and folders. I spotted my CFO, David Chun, at the front, offering a warm wave. We made excellent time, David called out. Is this your family? David. This is my mother Elizabeth and sister Lauren.
Mom.
Lauren, David Chun, our chief financial officer. David extended his hand to Mom, who shook it stiffly. It's a pleasure to finally meet you both. Maya speaks about you often. Does she? Mom said flatly. Our COO couldn't join but sent the latest projections, David continued, handing over a tablet. Numbers look strong. Mountain Vista Lodge beat forecasts by 12%, and Ocean Breeze is fully booked through next summer. Behind him stood Rachel Morales, head of marketing, and James Park, director of operations. They greeted me with the comfortable familiarity of longtime collaborators. MS. Reynolds, Mr. Thompson said. Should I escort your family to their suites first? Or handle the meeting? The meeting can wait a bit, I decided. Let's get everyone settled properly. Of course. Jessica can finalize check-in. He turned to Mom and Lauren with professional warmth. Ladies, you'll be in our premier Lakeview suites, 1,800 square feet each. Private balconies, separate living spaces, round-the-clock concierge. Normally $4,000 per night, but complimentary as MS. Reynolds guests. $4,000 per night, Lauren repeated slowly. Correct, Mr. Thompson confirmed. MS. Reynolds stays in the founder suite when on property. It's not offered to regular guests. How often do you visit? Mom asked me. Once or twice monthly. I rotate across all 3 properties. Rachel approached with a kind smile. Mrs. Reynolds. I'm Rachel from marketing. I wanted to thank you personally. Maya has mentioned how you taught her the value of presentation and meticulous detail. Those lessons shaped our brand identity deeply, understated luxury with warmth. Mom looked stunned, mouth slightly open. And Lauren, Rachel continued, Maya has incorporated some of your real estate staging ideas into our model suites. She admires your talent for creating welcoming spaces. You really use those techniques? Lauren asked me, confusion evident. You have strong instincts, I told her. I've always respected that. James joined, checking his phone. Is now a bad time to discuss expansion sites? We're evaluating options in Colorado and Maine, but I wanted your input first. Expansion. Mom echoed weakly. We're aiming for 5 properties within 3 years, James explained. Maya prioritizes quality and sustainable growth. She rejected 8 potential locations last year that didn't meet criteria. David glanced at his tablet again. Mrs. Reynolds, you run boutique consulting, correct? Maya has praised your expertise in scaling small businesses. Have you considered hospitality consulting?
I
Don't know what to say. Mom managed. Think about it, David suggested. We value experienced advisors. And Maya holds your business insight in high regard. Mr. Thompson returned with key cards. Suites are prepared. We've scheduled private dinner in the lakeside room at 7 per Ms. Reynolds' request, a special tasting menu. The room accommodates up to 40, Rachel added. But tonight it's just family and core team for intimacy. As Jessica handed over the cards, Lauren stared at hers in disbelief. Maya, why didn't you tell us sooner? She asked softly. I tried 3 years ago, I reminded her. Remember? I said I needed to discuss my business seriously. Mom's expression shifted with recognition. Thanksgiving. You mentioned something important, and you said you were too busy with clients to hear about my little projects. You both left early. I thought it was another failed idea, Lauren admitted quietly. By then, Serenity Bay had just opened and turned profitable within 3 months. I wanted to celebrate with family, but you kept showing up in work clothes, Mom protested. Tired. Looking like. I was working hard, I finished. Luxury properties require hands-on oversight. Someone has to verify linens, storage, maintenance personally. I'm not above doing the work. Mr. Thompson's phone buzzed once more. Ms. Reynolds. Architectural Digest is confirming your interview for next month's feature on innovative hospitality design. Architectural Digest? Lauren looked faint. We're featured in their visionary section, I explained. They want details on blending sustainability with luxury. The elevator ride-up was silent. Mirrored walls reflecting our similar features, same eyes, same determined jawline, yet highlighting the distance between us. Mr. Thompson operated the controls with quiet efficiency. This is your suite. Mrs. Reynolds, he announced on the 3rd floor, opening a corner door with flourish. The space unfolded beautifully, floor-to-ceiling windows framing the lake. A stone fireplace. Plush seating inviting relaxation. Subtle luxury touches everywhere. Champagne chilled. Flowers fresh. Welcome package thoughtfully arranged. If you need anything, direct concierge line is available. Mom walked to the windows, gazing out. You designed every element, down to the smallest detail, I confirmed. It's meant to feel like coming home while experiencing something special. It's stunning.
Maya.
Truly. We proceeded to Lauren's suite. Nearly identical, but with different soft color accents that enhance the space differently. Lauren stood in the living area, turning slowly. The staging. You actually applied my methods here. You're skilled at what you do, I said. I learned from observing you. Mr. Thompson excused himself, leaving us 3 alone. The quiet stretched, heavy with unspoken years. I need clarity on something, Mom finally said. Why allow us to assume you were struggling all this time? I didn't allow anything, I replied. You assumed based on surface appearances. Whenever I tried correcting it, you spoke over me, convinced my path was mistaken. The warehouse work is real, I continued. But it's strategic oversight. You saw dirty clothes and labeled it failure without asking what my days actually involved. Lauren sat on the sofa. At Christmas you mentioned a major project. I told you to seek stable employment instead. You did, I nodded. At Easter, when I talked about work travel, you joked about budget airlines. Those trips were to Mountain Vista for supplier issues in the kitchen, I added. Mom turned. 3 years.
Maya.
You let this misunderstanding last 3 years. 2 years and 7 months exactly. I corrected gently. I didn't let it. You chose your narrative about my life.
We're family, Mom said.
You should have forced us to see. I attempted multiple times. But you were committed to viewing my choices as errors. You couldn't perceive what stood before you. Lauren's voice dropped. We called you the warehouse worker constantly, at gatherings, calls, introductions. Yes, I acknowledged. At Aunt Carla's party, you told her friends I was your sister stuck in warehouses. I said I worked in logistics. I clarified. True, but incomplete. No one dug deeper. Mr. Thompson's voice came through the suite intercom. Ms. Reynolds, your 4 o'clock interior design session starts in 15 minutes. Shall I reschedule? No need. I responded via the button. I'll head down shortly. You have meetings even now? Mom asked. It's a working weekend. Finalizing plans for the Colorado property. I moved toward the door. Dinner at 7 in Lakeside Room. Join us or opt for room service. Everything covered. Why do this? Lauren stood suddenly. Why invite us here like this? Because I wanted you to see who I truly am, not the version you constructed. As I left for my meeting, the design session extended as expected when planning new sites, discussing materials. Flow. Guest experience enhancements. By 6:30, I changed in the founder suite, my private sanctuary larger than premier rooms, featuring a personal terrace and lake-facing soaking tub. I had spent many nights here refining operations, training staff, perfecting standards. My phone buzzed, text from David. Your mom and sister are already in the dining room. They seem overwhelmed. Ease up, I replied. Be natural. But maybe skip raw revenue figures first. The lakeside room glowed softly with candlelight when I arrived. My team had gathered. David, Rachel, James, plus department leads. Mom and Lauren sat at one end, looking distinctly out of place yet attentive amid professionals. Rachel waved me over. We were sharing last year's sustainability awards. Your mom didn't realize Serenity Bay achieved carbon-neutral status. Balancing luxury with responsibility matters to me, I said, taking the head seat. They're not opposites. The chef presented the first course himself, a refined amuse-bouche using local produce. I'd cultivated those supplier relationships carefully over years. This tastes amazing, Lauren said quietly. Chef Elena is outstanding. We recruited her from a top Chicago restaurant. Throughout the meal, conversations flowed naturally, team recounting growth stories, obstacles overcome, my leadership approach. They filled gaps unknowingly for my family. The early days were intense, James recalled. Maya lived on site for months, mastering every role from housekeeping to kitchen prep alongside staff. She still jumps in, Rachel added. Last month, she covered breakfast service to identify bottlenecks firsthand. Understanding pressure points is key, I explained. You can't lead what you haven't experienced. David raised his glass. To the fairest, most demanding, visionary leader who never asks what she wouldn't do herself. They toasted me warmly. Mom's hand trembled slightly, lifting her flute. After dessert, guests dispersed gradually, some to rooms, others to the bar. Soon only Mom, Lauren, and I remained. I owe you a sincere apology, Mom began. For 3 years, I judged you harshly, pitied you, made cutting remarks about your appearance, vehicle, decisions, all while you created this extraordinary place. She gestured around. Why the blindness? I asked. Because I needed you to need me, she admitted painfully. Lauren followed my guidance into real estate, dated who I suggested, built the life I pictured. But you forged your own way. And I secretly hoped you'd stumble, so you'd return admitting I was correct. That's painful to hear, I said. It is, she agreed. As your mother, I should champion your success regardless of path. I didn't. I wanted it my way, or not at all. I'm truly sorry. Maya. Lauren's eyes glistened. I'm sorry, too, for joining in. The jokes. The superiority. You were my sister. I should have supported you. Instead, I used your situation to validate my choices. Explain, I prompted. Mom positioned you as the defiant one who wouldn't listen. It made me the good daughter. Seeing you fail reinforced I chose correctly. It was small-minded and cruel. I accept the apologies, I said. But understand, this weekend isn't about shaming you with success. Then, what's the purpose?
Mom asked.
Showing you my real self, who I've always been. Someone who works diligently, builds carefully, gets involved directly. You attacked that reality for years. How do we repair this? Lauren wondered. I'm unsure if it's immediate, I replied. Start with honest talks instead of assumptions. Ask about my life rather than dictating flaws. I'd like learning who my daughter really is, Mom said. Me too, Lauren added. The authentic you. We talked deeper into the night about fears I'd wasted potential, my frustration at constant dismissal, mutual failures in communication. Lauren asked eventually, Your car? Clothes, you have resources now. Why no upgrades? The car functions well. Clothes are practical. Success isn't flashy vehicles or labels. It can be reliable transport and work gear when focused on meaningful creation. A subtle jab at us, Mom noted, almost smiling. A little, I admitted. But deserved. My phone buzzed, Mr. Thompson, about tomorrow's Architectural Digest photo shoot. Want to observe? I offered. 7 a.m. Full property walk. 3-hour session. We'd like that, Mom said. Very much, Lauren agreed. The good nights carried genuine warmth. Lauren's hug lingered. Mom's embrace tighter than usual. I'm proud of you, Lauren whispered. I should have said it long ago. My daughter, the visionary who built this empire, Mom added. I have much to discover about you still. We have time if you choose it, I replied. Alone in the founder's suite, I stepped onto the terrace. Moonlight danced on the lake. Grounds immaculate. Every detail realized from vision to reality. The journey involved late nights, doubts, triumphs of persistence. My phone lit up, Lauren texting. I researched your company. Forbes mentions, sustainability honors, industry profiles calling you innovative. You're respected in hospitality. I responded. I prefer the work to speak. It's speaking volumes. Don't believe everything? I'm rethinking what I dismissed. Good night. Thanks for not abandoning us. I reflected on building without their validation. Their doubts hurt, but didn't halt progress. Tomorrow they'd witness more, the photo shoot, staff respect, my industry's regard. Perhaps understanding would follow. Either way, Serenity Bay endured. Company expanded. Team committed. Next morning, Mom and Lauren joined the shoot promptly. They walked beside me as the photographer captured angles, listened to discussions on sustainable features, integration of local elements. By afternoon, conversations turned personal again. They asked questions about early challenges, investor partnerships, daily operations. I started acquiring the land 7 years ago, I shared. Oversaw development from concept through opening. Partners believed in boutique luxury resorts emphasizing quality over scale. Lauren admitted. I introduced you as warehouse staff at events. That must have stung. It did, I said. But I kept going. Mom reflected. My consulting focused on scaling others. Yet I couldn't see my own daughter's growth. Dinner that evening brought more team stories, overcoming supply disruptions, implementing green initiatives, my insistence on staff development programs. As candles burned lower, the moral lingered. Assumptions blind us to others' realities. Judging worth by appearances or mismatched standards erodes relationships. True success encompasses more than visible luxury. It's dedication, vision, willingness to engage directly. Yet questions remained. Could family truly bridge years of misjudgment? Would changed perceptions last beyond this weekend? Serenity Bay stood as testament, not built despite doubt, but through resolve to honor my own standards, proving value to myself foremost. Over subsequent hours, layers peeled back further. Rachel shared how my emphasis on employee well-being reduced turnover dramatically compared to industry averages. James detailed how personal facility inspections caught issues early, saving significant costs. Mom listened intently. I taught presentation skills, but never imagined applying them to an entire resort chain. You laid foundations, I acknowledged. Even if unintentionally. Lauren opened about her real estate pressures, market fluctuations, client demands. Hearing your expansion plans makes my deals feel smaller somehow. Scale differs, I reassured. Impact varies by focus. Your work creates homes for people. That's meaningful. Private moments between us three deepened. Mom confessed specific regrets, Thanksgiving dismissal, Easter jokes, countless comparisons favoring Lauren. I feared your independence meant I'd lose influence, she said. Instead of celebrating your strength, I tried diminishing it, Lauren added. Seeing colleagues respect you so highly, it humbled me. I used your perceived struggles to boost my ego. We addressed the core hurt, repeated dismissal without curiosity. The warehouse narrative became shorthand for failure, ignoring the strategic role in maintaining excellence. Quality begins unseen, I emphasized again. Luxury fails without solid foundations, literally and figuratively. By weekend's close, tentative bridges formed. They promised ongoing questions about operations, invited me to their professional events genuinely. Yet the ending carried nuance. Reconciliation felt authentic but fragile. Years of patterns wouldn't vanish overnight. The moral question echoed. How often do we define others' success by our narrow metrics, missing their unique achievements? What relationships suffer when we prioritize being right over understanding? As I watched their cars depart Sunday afternoon, Mercedes and BMW heading back to familiar lives, I stood in the lobby I designed. Serenity Bay hummed with guests enjoying the lake, staff moving efficiently. David approached. Productive weekend? More than I expected, I replied. Healing started. The resort, my vision realized, continued thriving regardless. Built through determination, not for approval. That independence, that self-validation, represented the deepest success. Yet the weekend left lingering wonder. Would family truly integrate into my world? Or revert to old lenses? Either path, I'd persist, hands dirty when needed, vision clear, standards unwavering. The lake reflected afternoon light as I prepared for the next site visit. Work awaited, as always. And in that consistency lay quiet power.